Welcome to Florida Criminal Law. My name is Stephen G. Cobb, and I've been practicing criminal defense law in the state of Florida for over 3 decades. Today, we're going to talk about the 5 steps to success in any type of criminal case within the state of Florida. Number one, first and foremost, you're going to need a lawyer, but really, you're going to need a legal team. And when it comes to having a legal team with lawyers on it, as well as support staff, you want your leader to be a board certified specialist in criminal trial law. Number two is not very popular, but you know it's true. Number three, the best way to communicate information about your particular set of facts and circumstances is what's known as a fact pattern report. We'll go on into that in some more detail later. Now, this is something most lawyers are not talking about, but stress is the number one thing that can make a bad situation worse. I could give you stories all day long. Finally, the fifth thing is you're going to need to make decisions and you're going to need to follow through on those particular decisions. Now, let's expand on each one of these different aspects of the 5 steps to success in a Florida criminal case. Number one, of course, is look for the official review of the Florida bar, not some website's opinion based on random strangers, possible customers, or companies that have been hired to produce favorable reviews. The truth is, most experienced criminal defense lawyers are not certified by the Florida bar, which regulates over 100,000 lawyers in the state of Florida. Now, board certified specialists are different because they have to have more trials than most trial attorneys. Specifically, in addition to having a minimum of 25 trials, you also have to have at least 15 that are serious and complex. And for example, minor things like number one, quadruple homicide as a death penalty case. Number two, multi-complaining witness sexual battery. These are very serious and complex cases, and most of these cases, frankly, don't go to trial. Next, the types of reviews you get with the Florida bar is very specific. It's anonymous. You give them a list, and they also check other people. And they ask very specific questions about very specific areas of law. And some judges like you, some judges can't stand you. Opposing counsel generally isn't your biggest fan. Finally, this is the number one reason why most people with many years, up to 2 decades of criminal law experience, are not board certified specialists. The test is 2 days long, 8 hours a day, and year in and year out, over 80% of the people who take it fail the test. Next, everybody's favorite topic, and everybody wants to hear that there are multiple payment plans available for everything involved. And the truth is, you need money for more than legal fees. There are other matters to consider. The best criminal defense lawyers are not going to be very happy with a proposal of $500 down and $50 a month for a major felony case. Generally speaking, you're going to find that criminal defense lawyers are not fans of payment plans because they don't get paid. And what we do, and what many firms do, is we offer one in-house and out-of-house. And the one that's out-of-house, most people don't qualify for because it's based on credit. And what we do in-house is 50% down with the balance due in 30, 60, or 90 days, depending on the type of case it is and how long we expect it to last. Now, let's move to the third step. And I think this is possibly one of the single most important things involved in a case. And I run into just the opposite, the incorrect way of telling the story all the time. I even run into it from lawyers who will come into my office and want to chat about a case. Now, at this point in my career, this hasn't happened in over 20 years. But especially early in my career, I'd even have lawyers come in and want to not really work on a case, but chat about the rights and wrongs of it. To me, there's just too much work to do. And quite frankly, there's so much work to do that when it comes to questions like, what about this? What about that? What are the odds? What are the percentages? Lawyers don't deal with that. We don't. We deal with facts, information, logic, statutory construction, and basics of the law. And in order to do that, we begin by a discovery process to gather information about your case. And you're one of the biggest sources of information and potentially other favorable witnesses, family members, or whoever is. So, what we're going to want you to do is write this down over 4 days. And we want you to put attorney client privilege on every page. And we want you to go into incredible detail, approximately what time, if it's a vehicle involved, what kind of vehicle, what make, model, year, and color. Was it clean? Was it dirty? Was the sun out? Was it raining? Was it cloudy? What clothes were you wearing? What color were your socks? Now, this might seem extreme, but if we talk about your case and you're serious about retention, you'll end up hearing stories that are from real life about how writing down a fact report in writing is the single most important thing you can do. And the other single most important thing you can do, yes, there are actually two, is you need to control stress at a time in life where you're going through a post-traumatic stress and disorder inducing event. I mean, criminal prosecution is not having a bad day at work or your kids acted up or something like that. And stress can be very, very damaging. The prosecution is going to weaponize your stress and your family's stress, and they're going to use it against you by delaying certain bits of information. And their goal is to punish you from the word go and to cause pain, emotional pain, and physical pain if they possibly can. Now, one of the best ways they do this is to get you to fight with your legal team. And the way they do that is, of course, by delay. We file a notice of discovery to get their side of the story, and they send part of it, usually not the whole thing, in 21 days. And for 3 weeks, you're wondering what's going on in my case, and it's stressful. And the answer is nothing. We're waiting on them. And we have multiple people in the same circumstance, and we work on cases in a sequence and an order. So the answer to most of your questions, if they involve speculation, what ifs, what about this, what about that, is very simple. Maybe, I don't know, we need more information. When we have sufficient information and, specific things we can answer like bond conditions and stuff like that, but, outcomes we can't promise. When something happens on your case, our practice and procedure is to notify you immediately. Now, it might be a phone call randomly. It could be an email asking you to schedule an appointment for something that's already expected. And because of this, during the entirety of your case, whether you're talking to a counselor, whether you're reading books from a personal development perspective, or you're listening to books on audio as you drive around Northwest Florida, or if you're an out of state person, wherever you live, it's going to be critically important that you have a system to deal with that stress. And if you'd like for me to go into more detail about what we know works and doesn't work when criminal cases are handled, I'll make time for you and we'll talk about that. Now, fifth, you're going to have to make a lot of decisions. This ranges from who you're going to have as defense counsel, as well as whether or not you want to testify in a trial, whether or not you want to take a settlement offer, whether or not you want a particular juror, should your case make it that far. And in today's world, because of the trial penalty, only about 1% of cases go to trial. So looking at all of these things, for all of your decisions that you're going to have to make, your head is going to need to be clear and as free of panic, hysteria, and upset as you can possibly make it. So thank you for tuning in to this particular issue of Florida criminal law. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And please keep this in mind if you or someone you love has been investigated or arrested and needs counsel within the state of Florida.